Hey guys, my welcome to iListening, episode 5. I'm your host. I am your host and friend. More importantly, ruebenorart. Today, I have a review of American football and a surprise special guest segment coming up later. I'm sure I think you guys will like it. So right off the bat, my name is ruebenorart. So I just have to get some stuff out of the way first before I get right into the episode. There were some apologies in order from me about last week's episode. When I was talking about Bob Dylan with his Nobel Prize, I started talking quite passionately, as I often do, and I didn't do this intentionally, but I said a bad word, and got a lot of really harsh emails from parents who listen with their kids to the podcast. A lot of really harsh emails, like saying that I'm not quite the role model they thought I was, which I think is a bit overkill, honestly. But point taken. And I just think they need to understand. The parents need to understand that sometimes as an adult, and sometimes adults let out a little sin once in a while. But I don't think they should hold me to, and for that reason, I don't think they should hold me to some double standard that you wouldn't hold yourself to. Either way, I always say iListening is I always say iListening family, and so it's a family podcast. I'll do my best to refrain from saying stuff like that in the future. Also got another email, some emails, and I did go back, and I could hear it only just faintly. But I was munching a bit last episode, having some eats, and I didn't. I was having, snacking on some crackers. It was late. I didn't know I honestly didn't think my microphone would pick that up. But I guess that a lot of people said they heard it. It was quite loud, and it was kind of rude. But I get so I apologize. I'll refrain from doing that in subsequent episodes. But I guess there's kind of a silver lining to this, because I didn't quite realize how much my equipment picked up. So that's a nice little thing, knowing I have some better equipment than what I thought. Another thing regarding the Vict Paul 2K16 campaign. Paul will be out of here any day now. I've been forwarding them to my landlord Ken, and one of these emails that got sent in from a fan. One of them shined through right from the subject line. He tagged it hashtag 20K16. So he got some points right there. So this is from Stephen Rain. Yeah. So he started off his letter saying, "Yes, hi, Art." And to be honest, I'm always a bit apprehensive when someone who I haven't definitively identified as my friend calls me Art. But his next sentence, I think, wins me over right off the bat. He says, "I think we should, yes, hi, Art. I think we should say goodbye to Paul." And like I said, that's one way to win me over. So I'm going to read his email here. So he said, "Yes, hi, Art." Or, "Yes, Art, hi. I think we should say goodbye to Paul. That's why I listened to Say Goodbye off Revolution Radio over and over again, thanks to her recommendation. Honestly, I think Green Day wrote that song with Paul in mind. This is all his email here. So let's. He says, Stave says, let's look at some lyrics, and he even, like, in addition to the title, he even cited the lyrics along with some stuff, just as I requested. So he quotes the refrain, "Roll, roll, roll." He says, "This is obviously a reference to Paul's many roles in his household, of which many of them are actually usually occupied by the common raccoon." He quotes the lyrics, "Hello to the cops." He then says, Steve says, "Here we see that Paul hates black people." This is me now. I gotta admit, I haven't heard him explicitly say he hates black people, but I would not put it against him. And he goes on to quote, "They say a prayer, but he is at least a good Christian." Which I don't know about that. That's about the only part of the letter where he lost me. Keep going here. So he says, "Children, Elipisius, like 3 periods, Elipisius, from the bottom. Here the children, so 3 periods again, suffering." And he says, "Here we see that Paul." Oh yeah, this is a good point. I forgot to make this. This is a good one. He says, "Here we see that Paul is actually Jared Fogle." I mean, he might. Paul has been arrested before, and I don't know what, I never quite filled in the blanks until the stove email here, which brings up an even bigger angle for us with the Evict Paul 20K16 movement. In addition to trying to sabotage, just a great podcast with a lot of happiness, he's also a child pornographer. And that's real big. That's big, guys. And then he finishes off the email saying, in conclusion, we should continue to march against the proletariat for our right to be intoxicated all hours of Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern ST. Thanks. No, thanks you, Steve. I read this letter on the podcast because I think Steve really knocked it out of the park. Honestly, I think that this letter alone might just win over Ken by itself. Honestly. I've been planning on something for a while, and I couldn't think of a better way to introduce it than in response to Mr. Rail email. I'm introducing the iListening rewards program. I will be setting up like a database in an Excel sheet. I'll be like establishing a hierarchy of iListener listeners, and Steve will be the first one I award the iListener Gold status to. So congratulations, Stav. So you can expect an email from me from ruebenorart@gmail.com, including a congratulatory message and a little PDF medal. And I will enter you into the Excel sheet, and so to stay for the rest of the eternity. I think quick message to there will also be gold. There'll be gold and silver bronze status too, because I know not everyone can put in quite the effort that's did here. I think this is an aside to my listeners. I think we should all aspire to Steve's excellence, though. because it's just really, really, really inspiring seeing someone put in this kind of effort for to appease some like a podcaster like me, and it just really warms the cockles of the heart. Yeah. So that about that about finishes up the the peer review talk of this episode, and we'll start talking about American football. So American football is a American. What a surprise, right? American emo band. Right off the bat, I have a bit of a problem with this album. So this band, American Football, with this album, 2016, the year of Vic Paul, it has the album American Football, the self-titled. But this is, guys, this is their second album, called American Football, which is also their name. The first one was in 1983. It's American Football. That's all there is to it. I think that this is a bit more. I think I appear to be the only one that's really causing a stir about this online. A lot of people seem to be not quite feeling that it's. I think I'm more like thinking that this is more malicious than a lot of people are making it out to be, like a malicious attack on the decency of radio music, and I don't think I'm gonna stand for that. Honestly, it's degenerating the airwaves. Not good. I don't think I'll go with this time. With this, I won't go as far as to start an email campaign as I did with Paul. But you better bet. I will be Googling this later and contributing to either a petition or an email campaign to changing the name of the album. Anyways, the name, a lot of good songs on this album. Quite a few. I particular like the Honestly track. And just for something different with this episode, while I was listening to the album, I thought that I'd just write down some words instead of giving you like a rigorous review as usual. Just I'd write down some words that came into my mind while I was listening to this album. Yeah. Anyways, word list. Number one, stunning. A lot of really pretty, gorgeous things that you're just like, wow. And when you're listening. Number two is Desperation. Number three was Dell Computers. Number four was Gel, like hair gel. I think this band, like this listening audience and this band's listening fans, the amount that use hair gel, I think, would be directly proportional to the normal average population that uses hair gel. And number five was iListening. As I was thinking about how this would be a great review to have on the podcast, and here I am reviewing it. Anyways, if the words were not quite indicative enough of the quality of this album, it's pretty good. Honestly, I like it quite a bit. Not quite good. Not quite as good as Revolution Radio. Nothing can, it's hard. It's hard when, there's such a strong. It's hard to compete with an album like American Football with like such a strong political message and stances. So anyways, my recommended listening experience for American Football, I'm not even going to say it. It would be anywhere, doing anything really. Like this is you can just do it anywhere, and it's pretty good. You could listen to it in the car. Not my car because it's kind of falling apart. but yours, I'm sure, would be good. So anyways, that about wraps up the review. Got a couple more things to discuss. Gonna move on to about the guest segment here. So last week, I spoke about the Nicole email, waiting for it. And got a lot. Some of the younger listeners in our audience sent in emails because they didn't quite understand the analogy that I used regarding the sperm egg emails inbox and analogy that I used. So I thought this would be a great way to introduce a brand new segment. I spoke to my family doctor, Dr. Jeff Wilkes, and he's going to explain it to you, because I think that this is a great way for kids to learn. Like, got some like good music talk with a cool guy like me, and then you got some like learning and stuff after. I think that they'll be attentive to this. So like I said, Dr. Jeffrey Wilkes, my family doctor, old friend. So this will be, without further ado, this is iListening episode 5, iEducation, Sexual Education, episode 1, with Dr. Jeff Wilkes, and I'll see you after the break.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Wilk, and iListening podcast has invited me on to today's show in order to help educate the youth about sex. Human reproduction in any form of sexual reproduction resulting in human fertilization, typically involving sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. During sexual intercourse, the interaction between male and female reproductive systems and the fertilization of the woman's ovum by the man's sperm. These specialized reproductive cells are called gametes, created in the process called meiosis. While normal cells contain 4 to 6 chromosomes, 23 pairs, gamete cells only contain 23 chromosomes. And it is when these two cells merge into one zygote cell that the genetic recombination occurs, and the new zygote contains 23 chromosomes of each parent, giving them 23 pairs. After a gestation period, typically of 9 months, is followed by childbirth. The fertilization of the ovum may be achieved by artificial insemination methods, which do not involve sexual intercourse. This has been iListening episode 5, iEducation, Sexual Education, episode 1 with Dr. Jeff Wilkes. I'm Dr. Jeff Wilkes. Thanks for listening.
Wow, what a great segment from Dr. Wilkes. On behalf of all the kids and iListening, me, I'd like to give a special thanks to him for coming on and offering his own unique take on reproduction. Very much appreciated, sir. I'm sure that the younger demographic that I know this show is big with will have a lot of their questions about last week's analogy answered. I know I learned something. So, anyways, if you'd like to hear Dr. Wilkes on the show again, just feel free to send me an email, ruebenorart@gmail.com. Let me know you liked him. I think he'd be a good addition once in a while. Anyways, quick update on the Nicole situation. Regarding that email I read on a couple shows ago, I still have not heard from Miss Holland, even though through So I'm going to offer you guys a unique opportunity with the show, because I usually critique stuff on the show, but for this episode, I'm going to let you guys critique me. On the description on the YouTube video and in the Bandcamp thing, I will attach a link to a picture of a sign that I have posted in my apartment building on the tack board downstairs. And what I'm getting at is maybe when you're looking for a job, maybe you have a resume and you're trying to find a job, but you have the wrong resume or you have the wrong credentials on it, so you don't get hired. as simple as that. So maybe I'm wondering if I need some extra vision on this. Because maybe I'm just so you guys, I will attach that, and you guys send me an email, let me know, give me some suggestions. Anyways, one more thing before we end this week's episode off is regarding a bit of an incident in the comment section of the last week's episode on the YouTube channel. There's some joker that requested an album. What's it called here? It's called the shape of reality in the shape of reality in space by Intervaller. Yeah. Anyways, he requested that I review it, which is fine. So I left a review saying, "Hey, iListener." To which I politely asked him to send his request in email form. So he did, and that was great. Here's when things turn a little sideways. So I did I went on the old Google and did some Googling on the aforementioned album. And I found out it came out 8 years ago. Don't waste my time. I don't have the time of the day to review an album that came out 8 months ago. It came out December 2015. It's October 2K16, the year of the Paul eviction. Don't waste. I don't have the time for this. Like with all the editing I have to do with every episode, I'm struggling to keep up. Like I gotta do that Korn album that comes out. It's stressful. So if you just want to be some trash boy that requests old albums, don't waste my time. Don't fill up my inbox with that garbage. You know who you are. Just step down. Just stop. Okay? Got it? Anyways, that's about does it for this week's episode of iListening. As always, my name is ruebenorart. You can email me at ruebenorart.com. You can follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out our Bandcamp, iListening.bandcamp.com. And have a nice day.